Hi Devorah, thank you for uploading your homeworks and your photo shoot. First glance looks excellent, very exciting. Okay, let's jump in. Also, thank you for numbering the files correctly. Okay, just as a heads up, what I say to everybody when in the first class, when they upload their first homework, is you have to do both the homework and the photo shoot. The success of the course is dependent on you doing both of them each week and really trying to push yourself. It's sometimes difficult, but it's really essential. It's so essential. Like I say to everybody, photography is a skill, and the mother of all skill is practice, repetition, whatever it is, but you can't get better without practice. It's nothing doing. If in the crazy situation when you're only able to do either the homework or the photo shoot, do the photo shoot. Okay, like I said, you have to do both, but if things are crazy and you can only do one or the other, the photo shoot takes precedence. The photo shoot is the place where it's going to come together. The homework is very important, but like I said, one or the other, photo shoot. Okay, that said, let's jump in. So, got a texture, this is fine. Just to bring out the texture would be better if we cropped in like really close. Okay, something like that. Sorry, let's try that again. Okay, this is a nice soft texture, very good, well seen. And then let's see our next texture, which is this one. Okay, that's great, excellent, wonderful. It's funny because it's a picture of nothing, but it's actually graphically worth a huge amount. It's there's a lot of energy there and excitement. These strong lines do a lot to us, but it's interesting because we have so to speak, a soft texture, but we have also a hard texture. So generally hard textures are much more energized and dynamic, and soft textures are more passive, relaxed. So we have an interesting thing going on here because we have the hard textures of these lines, and then we have the soft texture of the pieces in between, so it creates a very interesting emotional experience for us. Okay, here's patterns and another pattern. Let's look at this. That's fine, great. Yep, well seen. Like we said, a pattern is a repetitive geometric sequence is probably the best way of saying it, but there is a place where patterns and textures become kind of like blurry, like you don't know what you're looking at if it's a texture or a pattern. Don't worry about it. Okay, this is great. We could crop in a little bit closer. Excellent. Okay, that was really well seen. I appreciate that. Good stuff. Okay, so now we've got depth. So this isn't exactly what I had in mind for depth and perspective. One second, let me just see what we're meant to do here. Yeah, so depth, perspective. The truth is, I'll give you this one. You got away with it in that you have something very close and then something very far. But the actual idea was to be using some kind of perspective. Like if I just go onto Google and type in perspective and then go to images, here we have this kind of, I was thinking more along these lines, some kind of road going into the distance that creates a triangle that gives you some kind of movement into the image. Okay, but the truth is you've created a concept of an experience of depth by the fact that you have something close and something far, so that's okay. And then in regards to the bookshelf, really you need to be further back. It's just beginning, like these lines are converging, like you can see. Second, let me draw this in. Oh, not that. So you can see there's a line here, and then there's a line here. So these lines are converging, yeah, which does create perspective, but there isn't really enough doing to really like nail that home. But okay, good. Triangle, perfect. Good, strong triangle. Oh, excuse me. Ching, ching, ching. Great. One thing that I mentioned to everybody, which I mentioned to you as well, is if you are able to, you can upload this for next week, is try and think a little bit more out the box in that right now we have the candlesticks which are big and the cup and the salt thing that are small. If you were to bring the cup very, very close to you, the cup, so to speak, relative to the candlesticks would become very, very big. So if you moved back further and you brought the cup all the way close to you, you could end up with a giant cup, so to speak, and the candlesticks could be like little in the background. You with me? Which means you could create a triangle that doesn't really exist. It only exists from a certain vantage point. You understand? So that would be a more kind of advanced way of trying to create a triangle, and it would be just as much a graphical triangle as you've done here. This is how everybody does it, and it's fine. But if you want to do that and upload it for the next week, that's a good idea. Okay, let's go on. This is the shoot. Okay, let's just browse through. Very good, excellent. Very impressed. Oh, here's your balance picture. Excellent. That is really excellent. We've got a strong movement, a strong direction going to the left side. Her face is holding our attention, and the image is balanced. It could be helpful just to raise her chin a teeny little bit up, but really nicely balanced. I think you need to clean your lens. Look at your lens and take a soft tissue and clean your lens. It looks like there's a lot of dirt on your lens, and the camera is better to probably be using a slightly lower ISO. You're going to learn about that in the classes to come. Okay, so let's just have a look here. That's great. Our point of entry is her face. We move this way. The energy from the body is pushing us in this direction. So all in all, that becomes a very balanced picture. Like I said, if she was to raise her head up a teeny bit, it would probably help with the balance of drop. Okay, so let's look at your photo shoot. This is fine. This is great. Like I say to everybody in this class, you're going to, in about 2 weeks, definitely 3 weeks, you're going to look back at these pictures and think, oi, I can't believe I was taking pictures like this. But we're going to be positive, and you're going to see huge improvements very soon. I would crop in closer. Okay, be aware of the extra space that's not necessary. I think a little bit more room at the top. And if you notice, I've cropped a little bit, so there's a little bit more room on this side, because this arm, even though it's interesting because her body's moving this way, but this arm and leg actually create a movement this way. You with me? So we want a little bit more room over here to allow our eye to float around, and it doesn't, so to speak, bang into the edge of the frame. Okay, this is great. This kind of image I would shoot probably landscape orientation. Landscape makes things feel a little bit more relaxed. It would probably go with things a little bit better. Again, I don't know what was over here, so I can't, maybe it was better that you shot in this orientation. But if we just crop in, so to speak, like a square, I think that might add to our picture a little bit. Great, this is a lovely picture, it really is. Maybe we'll take this one into Photoshop, we'll see. Okay, another nice shot. Again, I can see your lens is definitely needs cleaning, and I'm looking here and I'm assuming that you're using Lightroom, because the vignette on Picasa looks very different to this, so I'm assuming you're using Lightroom. Nicely cropped in. You need, for black and white to really come home, so to speak, you need to add a lot of contrast. We could do that very quickly. I don't know if it's worth taking this one into Lightroom, but if we go to boost in Picasa, it's kind of a cheeky way of doing this, but that adds, I think that really adds quite a lot to just go to boost up this picture a little bit. Do you see the difference there? Yeah, very simple, easy to do. But just the point is that in black and white, because we don't have colour to interest us, usually we need contrast to interest us, like you learned in this class just gone. Okay, it's the same issue. It's a little bit flat because of the light coming through the background over here. That's kind of like created a haze. Again, like I said, because the lens isn't clean, that's caused that. But I do appreciate I definitely appreciate the composition. It could be better if this line was a little bit further over, which meant you coming around a little bit this way, a teeny bit. That could probably help. But you've cropped in close, and I can see a really sensitive eye to the tensions and the compositions. We're going to see amazing things from you. Zot Hashem. Okay, also a lovely picture, great. I'm appreciating your sensitivity to balance. You've got here a strong triangle like this, and the balance here, it works very well. The balance is nice. We've got a movement, because the triangle is kind of moving this direction, we've got a movement going in here, so I think the composition is excellent. However, what could be better is that just this background here has got no real graphical value, so even though it's balanced and we're moving in that direction, it's all good, it doesn't quite do it, because this area here is just a bit kind of it's vague and bland, and it's just without interest basically. There's no colour, or there's no textures, there's no kind of emotion there. It's just very kind of just bland basically. What we could do that would really improve it would be to crop in here, which means we compromise a little bit the composition. 1 second. We compromise a little bit the composition, and I would also again boost it up. It could be we'll take this one into Lightroom. Let's have a look. Which one should we take into Lightroom? You know, I think this is a great shot. I really do like this picture. Let's take this into Lightroom. Let's undo what we did. We can just open now with Lightroom. Okay, so I'm looking at this picture. I want to de-emphasize the background. I might warm it up and soften it, and I want to definitely add energy and contrast to our subject. So let's use our paintbrush tool here. I'm just going to paint over here. See, I didn't even look what we've done, but we've got a little bit of exposure, a bit more saturation, clarity. It's really done what we needed. Couldn't think of doing it much better. This is generally what will help us emphasize eyes, but in this case it's really worked well. Put the contrast up a teeny little bit. There we go. So you see already we've added a lot of energy over by the children. I'm going to crop in a little closer. That's a little too close, sorry. And now what I want to do to take away our attention from there, I'm going to use what's called a radial filter. I'm going to reset it. Okay, and I'm going to invert it, and then I'm going to drop down the exposure a little bit. And I'm going to drop down the clarity and the sharpness. I'm going to add a bit of warmth. Okay, I know it looks awful right now, but let's just wait a second. Just a drop of warmth. Okay, and also I want to emphasize their faces a drop more. A little more bright. That's a bit too much. And a drop of clarity. There we go. So I think we move from here to here. It could be an idea to just open up the a little bit more so it's not going on our subject so much. Okay, great work. Okay, looking forward to seeing what you do for us next week. It was a great beginning, and yeah, we're really looking forward. Okay, all the best.